One of the biggest factors keeping the gold price rally going despite negative news like we saw today is this little thing called central bank buying. And there's a lot more to it than that, of course, but this is a big factor, and I think that it's worth taking a look to see if it's going away. So I don't really like getting too deep into price analysis, probably because I'm not an analyst, but I do like to understand what's driving gold price. Now, we just got US GDP numbers in and they weren't great. So the implication to gold has to do with the Fed's likelihood of lowering rates. Now, we understand the link at this point. If the Fed were to cut rates, well, the demand for gold gets a boost because yields on competing products drop. Well, today's numbers make it harder for the Fed to cut. So gold, well, it's kind of moving. Still trying to figure out how much it cares, but we've already seen a noteworthy dip. Spot price of gold is around 23.20 as I'm recording this, and that's down from a high of 24.30 11 days ago. So I am calling it a dip because most would say the run is still ahead of us. Before we get back to it, if you're looking for gold and silver, hit up SD Bullion. New customers can even get gold and silver for spot. That's sdbullion.com/new. So let's look at what really has been driving gold price lately. And it's not US GDP numbers, it's central bank purchasing. So specifically, the People's Bank of China's purchasing. China purchased 314 tons of gold in 18 consecutive purchases. Those started in November of 2022. So as of March 2024, they're now the sixth largest holder of gold reserves, 2,245.3 tons of gold. And that represents 4.3% of their total reserves. Sounds like a lot. Well, it sounds like a lot if you don't compare them to anyone else, because if you do, that percentage of total reserves held in gold, well, it's really low. The global average is more like 13%. The United States holds just under 70% of its reserves in gold. So compare that again to China, currently at 4.3%, and that's what you'd call a disparity. Germany's at 69%, Italy and France are around 66%. Russia holds 26.2% of its reserves in gold. So I guess what I'm saying here is that for all of China's gold buying, they still have a lot of catching up to do. Their gold purchasing program has been a big driver for the gold price rally lately, but at 4.3% of total reserves, they have a long way to go just to get to average. Now, I couldn't say what their goal is, but if they add another 225 tons of gold in 2024, like they did in 2023, we're going to continue to see that push on gold price. And 225 tons doesn't even represent another percent of their $3.24 trillion in total reserves. So making a video guessing at China's plans for gold holdings probably doesn't make much sense, but central bank buying really is the elephant in the room lately. So I was just curious where China compared to the US in overall holdings, and they really don't even compare. The US has 8,133.5 tons of gold in reserve, while China has 2,245. So the US has 75% of its reserves in gold, China has 4.3. So let's get another stat out there. The annual global gold production is about 3,000 tons per year. That's where it was for 2023. Who knows, 2024 might be a little bit different, but let's use that as a base. China bought 225 tons of that, so about 7.5% of global gold production went to China. And that's a significant amount, and if they continue buying at that level, it's going to continue to have a significant impact on gold price. So all of this is really just looking at future price movement and whether or not there's this likelihood of a rug pull from that particular angle of demand. It doesn't look like there will be. So as to what's happening right now, we're once again seeing news that really should be bad for gold with GDP numbers down, the likelihood of a rate cut more difficult, and we still haven't seen a big drop below the moving averages. And that means that even though we got this pullback, call it a dip if you want, we haven't really seen a slowdown. And these $2,500 forecasts and the price of gold in 2024 or $3,000 forecasts, they haven't really changed. I haven't seen analysts walk any of those back. Now, my personal view on those numbers at least hasn't really changed either. If anything, we're just seeing them slide out a little ways since a Fed rate cut will eventually be another push for a gold price rally, and we're already rallying without it. Does that September, it's hard to say, but it makes these short-term pullbacks a lot more attractive. So let's call it good there. Let us know if you're buying the dip or just calling this a dip. Maybe you're waiting for a bigger dip. Let us know. And then while you're in the comments, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. Be sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you want to hear more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.